another video, and today we're doing another episode in my Extravagant and Excellent series. If you're gonna spend money on wine, can I recommend some good ones for you? Well, I'm very excited about the first one we're having today. It's one of those bottles I've had for a year or two in my fridge here, and it's just been one of those special bottles that I've been meaning to open in a certain circumstances. Not that it's the most expensive bottle, I have lots more that are more expensive than this, but it's an odd bottle, not one I'm not familiar with, not one that I've had before. So I'm very excited to try this. So as you know, if you've watched the series before, Extravagant and Excellent, 50 bucks before taxes and up. That's all it qualifies. This was 90 bucks when I bought it. I think I bought it from Marquee Wine Cellars, I'm not really sure. It's a 2015 Esprit de Table from Tablas Creek, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, Tablas Creek Vineyard in Paso Robles, California. 49% Mourvedre, 25% Grenache, 21% Syrah, and just for the heck of it, a little Couloise, 5% in there as well. Basically a little GSM blend, but in a very strange percentage, right? I don't think Mourvedre is heavy in many Southern Rhone blends. Let's find out. I've been excited about trying this. I have no idea. I'm sure I've never had a GSM style or Southern Rhone style blend from California. Over here, in between the goalposts. So 2015, it's definitely showing some bricking. It's like a deep purple color with a little bit of orange around the rim, a little bit of a meniscus there. I think if I was blind tasting this, I would have said it's probably 2012 or 13. It looks even a little older than the actual age of the wine. Definitely showing some a little bit of smoke, some black cherry, red cherry, leather. This is almost a pop and pour. I aerated it into the decanter. That was only about 5 minutes or so ago, so it's probably still going to be a little bit intense. And it is intense on the nose, but it's a nice nose. There's a little bit of alcohol showing through too. It still seems like it might be a little bit hot. 14.5%, like every other California red wine, I think, right? Let's see. Well, very dry. Tannins are medium plus still. Very dark on the palate. Dark fruit, dark chocolate, tobacco, leather. It smells and tastes older than it is. Not that it's spoiled by any stretch, not at all. But it is very, it seems very aged. You know, not 30 years, but it's definitely, I would have said, after tasting this, I would have said it's probably 12 or 13 years old. Not 7. Now, so as I said, a little bit of alcohol in the nose. It's a little bit, not off-putting, but maybe a little bit. You think, oh boy, it's going to be a little hot. Not in the palate, though. I'm getting some, this has got to be, it's got to be aged in American oak. And I say that because there's a little bit of dill, a little bit of vanilla, tiny hint of baking spice. Like it's not 100% new oak or anything like that, but there's definitely some oak. You see some oak. It's a nice wine, and I'm glad we tried this. It's something very different than we've had in the past. Do I love it? Not really. I shouldn't say that. It's a very good wine. It's not, oh my God, I can't wait to go out and buy a whole bunch more of these. This is a winery that I've seen other wines get really good reviews on. So I think it's a good quality winery. But I'm going to try to become more familiar with as I see these bottles, because they make quite a few different wines, I think. This one in particular, it's 91 points for me. It's a very good wine. 90 bucks, 91 points. How's your QPR there? And 90 bucks when I bought this a year and a half ago. I bet you it's probably over 100 right now. So would I run out and buy another bottle of this? It wouldn't be my first choice. Doesn't mean it's not a really nice, good quality wine. And you know what, as I've said many times on this channel, nice to have something different. I'm sure this is the first Rhone style blend I've had from California. I haven't had a lot of wine from Paso Robles, not much as I should have probably. And it's my first wine from this particular winery, a well-regarded winery. So those are all good things, right? But to you, the viewer, am I recommending you out and buy this wine? Probably not. I think for you can spend $90, $100, you can probably get a wine that you'll enjoy more than this. Having said that, if you're a huge fan of Rome style wines, maybe you like this more than I do. Although, you know, I'm a pretty big fan of Rome style wines. But I don't know that I've ever had one with 49% Mourvedre. That's a lot of Mourvedre, which it tends to be a grape that gets in blends. You know, you're rarely going to find a single varietal Mourvedre. I think I've seen one maybe ever, maybe two. It's one of those grapes that is often as an addition, kind of like Petit Verdot sometimes, where it's rarely by itself sometimes, but it's rarely by it's an addition. You bring it in to add this, you bring it in to add that. Like Mourvedre is one of those grapes that usually is an add-on to bring whatever it is you're trying to bring to your wine. To have it here be almost half the blend is unusual. And maybe I'm just not used to it. Well, I'm definitely not used to it. Maybe that's why I like this wine quite a bit, but I don't love it. And maybe that has something to do with it. So, but ultimately, I'm glad we had this for sure. Don't regret buying it or tasting it. I bet you I'm gonna have a little steak tonight. It's probably been pretty compared with my steak. What I actually did notice that I don't get at all here is any peppery qualities. So there's no pyrazines, bell peppers. There's no black pepper, white pepper, which 21% Syrah, right? No, yeah, 21% Syrah. I would expect to get a little more pepper than I'm getting, which is basically none. But as I said, almost pop and pour, 5 minutes in the decanter, maybe 10, and aerated. So for now, I'm gonna end this here, and I'm gonna see if it gets better over the next couple of hours as it decants. If it changes much, and I will report back to you on this one, if it does. And for now, let's go on to the next one. Okay, wine number 2. We're off to Spain for this one. 2014 Prado Inca from Bodegas Muga. Muga? Muga. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Muga? Anyway, one of the more famous houses in Spain, no question about that. 2014 Rioja. If you're not familiar with Rioja, it's where great Tempranillo lives. And this would be 100% Tempranillo, as I think most Riojas are. There are other regions in the world where you can get some pretty good Tempranillo, of course, but I think Rioja would generally be agreed upon by everybody as being the best. So, wow. It says Gran Reserva on the back. Gran Reserva, yeah, Prado Anea Gran Reserva 2014 Rioja. 14.5% alcohol. All right, let me see here what we got. Oh, red fruit, a little bit of a little bit of coconut there, dill. Most Tempranillo is done in American oak in Rioja. There are some exceptions, and this might even be one of them. I'm not sure. I'll make a note of that. A little bit of funky mushroom, some forest floor, earth, showing a little bit of age. It doesn't look that aged. A little bit of separation of meniscus, but it generally looks like a pretty young wine. No, there's no bricking. No. Deep purple color, not much orange or brown at all. Let's see how it tastes. I'm gonna need a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Crow's feet are neither crows nor feet. Discuss. Wow. How'd that discussion go? Good, I hope. Black cherry, red currant, red raspberry, tiny hint of smokiness, medium finish. The only thing I think that's really keeping this wine from just being absolutely out of this world outstanding. But boy, it comes on like a hurricane, and then yeah, wow. Tannins are still medium plus. Acidity is really well balanced. I said 14.5% doesn't seem anything like that at all. Nice backbone of acidity. There's some herbal characteristics, herbaceousness, like some dried herbs, dill, thyme, hint of sage maybe. Man, if this had a long finish, this would be just, I don't know what number would be, but it would be big. Man, Tempranillo gets a whole hell of a lot better than that, let me tell you. That is delicious. $88.99 I had on my spreadsheet when I bought this. I don't remember where nor when, a couple years ago probably. I should start making a note on my spreadsheet of when I bought it, shouldn't I? Imported by Christopher Stewart Wine and Spirits from Calgary. Well, I didn't get it in Calgary. I probably obviously got it at a private liquor store, but not Liberty Wines because it would have a sticker on it still. Anyway, if I paid $89 for it 2 years ago, it's probably $110 now. I'm just spitballing if you can find it. But at $110, I would still buy this wine. It is spectacular. Oh my goodness, the score. Oh, red sherry, a little bit of strawberry, like crushed strawberries. It's beautiful. 94 points. I think this would have made my best of the best list if it finished a little longer. It's really only a medium finish. But wow, that is good. Highly recommend that. Even on $100, 94 points is a really good score. And you know, it's again, we've talked about this so many times, different. You know, it's not a normal wine, and Tempranillo is not rare by any stretch, but you know, I'm sure it's not the first thing everyone reaches for when they go grab a bottle of wine off the shelf or out of their fridge. But I don't know if I've ever had a bad Tempranillo from Rioja, to be honest with you. But I'm sure I've never had one better than that. I don't think. I shouldn't say that. I can go back and check because we have had some Tempranillos that were spectacularly old. Because this grape can age beautifully. I mean, at 8 years, this is a baby. I had some really 25-year-old Tempranillos, which probably I would say would be even better than this. But for a $90, $100 Tempranillo, 8 years old, 2014, I don't know how much better you're gonna get than this. This is really just beautiful. Go get it. Let's see what's next. Okay, here we are with wine number 3. We're going back down to California, the Napa Valley for this one. 2014 Robert Mondavi Maestro. So this is a blend Bordeaux varietal, 73% Cabernet Sauvignon, 23% Cabernet Franc, and 2% of each Merlot and Petit Verdot. The time I bought this, it was $50 US. I'm sure what it would cost you now, if you can find it here in Canada. I have seen it here in Canada from time to time. It's one of those wines that's not necessarily available in every store in the world, but you can search it out and find it. I haven't had this finished before. I had some of the older ones and they were always good, so I suspect this is going to be a wine I'm going to recommend to you, but I've been wrong before, so let's find out, shall we? Oh, very earthy. 2014, 8 years old. Okay, so feel like there's a little bit of tar there. Almost, I might have thought this was a Barolo if I was tasting it blind. Some black fruit, some black olive, cassis, and a little bit of tobacco, maybe. There's a hint of minerality there too. I think like a flint or wet stone or something along those lines. All right, let's taste it and see if it's something to spend your money on. Oh wow, yeah, spend your money. Wow, that's good. So that's minerality really comes through on the palate as well, and as do the olives. And there's hints of like chocolate covered strawberries, and there's some floral components there too. Yeah, wow. As it finishes, this is an interesting wine. A lot of wines change as they go through your palate, of course. Good wines especially. This one really changes. It starts up front, earthy, minerals, olives. The fruit kind of comes through in the mid palate, blackberry and cassis. A little like chocolate covered strawberries, like I mentioned. And then on the finish, it almost feels like it gets a little bit of caramel, caramelly, and then like it as it just starts to head down and finish on your palate. It's like and a little bit of, like maybe toffee and coffee, if that makes any sense, and it probably doesn't, but that's what I'm tasting here. And like an intense coffee, like I don't know if it's I don't drink coffee, so I'm not an expert on the different machinations of coffee necessarily, but like almost on the mid palate, it's like a chocolate covered strawberries, and as it finishes, it almost mutates slightly into like a chocolate covered coffee bean. And maybe even a hint of vanilla coming in there at the end as well. Yeah, that is an absolutely lovely wine. Finishes medium plus. If it finished a little longer, it might really be like a real show stealer. But even so, it's spectacular. That is 94 points. That is just beautiful. Highly recommend, and at this price, again, I'll try to do a bit of research, and in post-production I'll let you know if you can find it here in BC or in Canada right now, or how much it costs in the winery. As I said, I bought this with $50 from the winery US, and we tasted this first. No, we were actually Mondavi Club members, and we had one of these shipped to us, an older vintage, and it was delicious. And then the next year, I believe, the Vancouver International Wine Festival featured California, and Mondavi was there, if memory serves, and we tasted the next vintage, and it was just as good. So we bought a couple of those, and I think this is probably the last bottle. I believe it's the last bottle. I don't know, because I would have tasted if it was. Maybe this is the first bottle of this particular vintage I've got. Maybe I have one in the cellar. I have to look, or maybe I only bought one. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember. I buy and drink a lot of wine. I can't remember it all. But I'm sure had I had this before, I would have reviewed it. And I checked before I tasted this, I checked my repository, and there's no rating for this wine. So I am gonna guess the wine that I tasted at the wine festival was the older vintage, probably the 13. This is 14. As I said, absolutely delicious. Highly recommend you pick this up. And if you can find it, even if it's $70, $80 in BC or in Canada, I'm recommending it. It's worth the money. It's really delicious. Can't wait to go drink the rest of this. So, this was my 75th video. I can't believe we got that far. I can't believe that people are still watching these videos. I'm glad you are, and I hope you're enjoying them. Well, if you're not enjoying them, why the hell are you still watching them? That would be weird. So please give this video a like, a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that. I sure appreciate it. Give it a comment. Have you ever had this wine before? What do you think about Robert Mondavi and his wines? One of those big name commercial wineries out of Napa. Some people just immediately assume the quality's lousy there. As someone that has tasted a lot of Mondavi wines, I can tell you they're not. There's some entry level stuff like the Woodbridge line, which is just garbage, and there's some, they have a very large portfolio. There's big breadth of quality, but his good stuff, I mean, even some of the whites, even his Tau Cologne Vineyard Fumé Blanc is delicious. I don't care if the name Mondavi's on it. I mean, Robert Mondavi did a lot for the Napa industry, but because he's so commercial, sometimes he doesn't get the respect he deserves, and people treat him like it's, oh, it's Mondavi, I can't. But I'm telling you, most of the wines, especially the ones that are a little above the entry level stuff, are really good. And we really enjoyed our time in the wine club there. Only reason we left was because we just couldn't afford to keep paying the exchange and the duty on the wines, because the Canadian dollar, of course, went in the toilet. We were members of 5 Napa wine clubs, I think, and we thoroughly enjoyed them. We would go across the border, pick them up, and bring them across and pay the duty. That was fine. But the duty and the exchange became kind of prohibitive to stay with those clubs. But if the Canadian dollar gets back around par again, I'd probably join a whole bunch of them again, because they really were pretty special. Let me tell you about Joseph Phelps and Insignia. That's a story for another day. So for now, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this wine and watch a little bit of hockey. And thanks again for watching. I sure appreciate it. And until next time, drink great wine. See you soon.